Did you know that in most areas, you could probably grow a cactus? So unless you're living in one of the extreme weathers, like a rainforest, or super, super cold, like the Arctic, you can grow a cactus. For example, if you lived in the Amazon rainforest or a tropical island, you probably could not grow a cactus, and that's because the roots, if they get soggy for too long, they'll rot and die. Another example would be if you lived in a very high altitude. The reason why you can't grow a cactus there is because it has very thin air, extreme temperature shifts, strong UV exposure, and a short growing season, making it hard for most cacti to survive there. For example, the Andes above the tree line and the Tibetan Plateau. And sure, it's easy for me to brag about cactuses and how awesome they are because I live in the desert. As a matter of fact, I live in the Mojave Desert near Death Valley itself. But that's why I'm an expert, and I'm here to brag about cactuses so that maybe you'll consider getting some for your garden. So, number one, they are the easiest plant on the face of the planet to propagate, and that's what I'm doing here in this video. Right in the center of these hollyhocks is a huge cactus with a bunch of different leaves or stems or pads, and that's what I'm doing. So you definitely want to get healthy stems. No drying, no injuries. They shouldn't look like they're about to fall off. They shouldn't be brown. Let them be green. And look, I can even separate two pads and I can give a go at both of them. Now, something that's important to remember, do not immediately stick them into the ground. I just drop them right then and there and let them sit for 2 or 3 days because you need that injured part to dry and callus over. This way, if it starts to root, it won't immediately get soggy and turn to rot, and then it will die for sure. I'm telling you, I've left cactus pads that I forgot about for weeks. Stumbled upon it, stuck it a little bit in the ground, and it started to grow. These things are hard to kill, and that's why they live in such a barren area. They thrive here. Here I am just showing you a bunch of pads, aka stems, of the cactuses that I've cut and just let lay there for a few days. This is a different style of cactus, and I really liked this one because you can see the prickles. They're not exactly prickles. They felt more like feathers. Now, here's my favorite propagated cactus to show you guys. I didn't even remember this was there, and look, it's already growing flowers. How pretty is that? I didn't even bury this one. I just tossed it there and forgot about it. I saw that it was starting to have some new growth, like little tiny pads were going out the top, like this one. And I was like, oh, let me cover it a little bit with dirt, encourage more growth. This one, I thought I left for the compost, but look, a tiny little pad coming out the top. This one, look at that. It's so cute to me. Look at the tiny little babies coming out of the top. And I planted this near sunflowers, which, if you know, sunflowers grow so big and so fast, they really steal all the nutrients that surround it. So it is hard to grow for other plants around sunflowers. But here they are. This one, 2 little bunny ears, uneven bunny ears, but bunny ears nonetheless. This one's just out in the open. I should put some soil on top of this thing just to protect it. But it has all these little new stems coming out of the top. Just there you go. There you go, friends. You're gonna do good. Now you might be wondering, okay, cool, you showed us how to propagate cactuses, but why the heck would we want a bunch of prickly cactuses all up in our garden? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Now, some of my cactuses did die. And to be honest, they're the ones that I just kind of tossed and didn't bother to bury or nothing. Pure laziness. But the ones that I did bother to bury, for example, this one. And now you can see this tiny little guy coming up right here. That's new growth. And same with the second one. Now you might be wondering, Jessica, why the hell would I want a bunch of cactuses? Well, cactuses actually are really beautiful to me, number one. That's number one. Oh, here's another one. Those 3 up top. I just buried the whole thing flat, and then new ones will grow up straight, which I found is the best method. If you pretty much basically just bury the whole thing, except for like a little bit at the top. Cactuses are really beautiful. In the summer, they make these beautiful flowers. Look at it, it's so cute. It looks like a little firework. And I always plant cactuses near my favorite plants, my garden crops, because of these guys. Hi, Floof. So not just cats, but also birds and other pests know what a cactus is. And they know that cactuses are dangerous. And therefore, cats, squirrels, birds, gophers, whatever you've got going on in your area. See, I buried that entire cactus, and those 2 you see coming out of the ground, that's all new growth, because I just buried the body in the ground. Pets know, animals, mammals know. You're not gonna catch that. He thought he was gonna catch a dragonfly. He only got 3 legs. They know that cactuses can hurt them, and therefore they are less likely to go take a pee, roll around, take a poop, rub and scratch up against your plants that have cactuses nearby. See this little guy right here? That's a propagated cactus that I've put over here near my marigolds, my corn, and my sweet potatoes. And I got some more on this side. New growth. Those 2 little guys up top is new growth. New growth up top. And see, it's not even buried. I just laid it there. And it grew these guys. All it needs is some nutrients, sunlight, and a little water. When you're first propagating them, these ain't doing nothing. To help protect the things that I'm growing over here, which is corn, hollyhocks, marigold. And I have some, what do you call these? Succulents. This is a cucumber. Cucumber, lavender, mint, more corn, more cucumber. I have some coleus over there. And in order to protect those plants, I've put some cactuses down here. And if you can see, it has taken root because it's growing. It has new growth. This one as well has some new growth. This one I think is dead. That's okay. This guy, these were the hardest to propagate because the thorns were really painful, so I had to use kitchen utensils to like I cut it off, and then I had to use kitchen a grabby thing, which now I have to get a new grabby thing for my kitchen, but whatever. So there you have it. That's why I recommend growing cacti in your garden and in your yard, because number one, they're so easy to propagate. You just plop it right off and plop it right in the ground wherever you'd like it. It scares away birds, squirrels, rats, cats, etc. because animals are aware that cactuses have those thorns. Same with a rose bush. But I'm not talking about rose bushes right now. I'm talking about cactuses. And they bloom these beautiful flowers in the spring and summer. I think they're gorgeous. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.